All right, let's move on to this next news story from The Verge, written by Jay Peters. Nintendo patents show the Switch 2 Joy-Con may indeed work like a mouse, and so might a new controller. Newly published Nintendo patents show that the company has been exploring a version of its Joy-Con controllers that can work like a computer mouse, a feature Nintendo has hinted will be coming to the Switch 2. In its Switch 2 teaser video last month, Nintendo showed two Joy-Con controllers sliding along the ground, much like you'd move a mouse. But mouse-like functionality may not just be limited to Joy-Cons. The patents also show that Nintendo has explored adding mouse-like functionality to a split controller with a larger, more traditionally sized grip. Images in one patent show a Joy-Con being held horizontally with the SR and SL buttons facing downwards and a person's thumb on the control sticks. This seems to indicate that the optical sensor would be facing downwards so that you can hold and move the controller on a surface like a mouse. Another image shows the left Joy-Con being used upright while the right Joy-Con is used in the mouse mode. Imagine WASD, but with your Switch controllers. In a machine translation of the patent, which is in Japanese, the term a mouse operation sensor appears 28 times, which suggests that there will be technology inside the controllers that makes them work like a mouse. There's a lot more of the article, but we get the point. Mouse functionality coming to Switch. All I got to say, I just need to say that right here at the top. Does this mean we're finally getting Mario Paint to Nintendo Switch Online? That's all I want. I need Mario Paint.
I mean, I badly need that too. There was, a couple months ago now, there was someone was digging into the Nintendo Switch Online, Super NES library, like digging into like the back end code, and support for the mouse was like added to it, or at least like the programming language to like accept that was added to it. And so I got super excited, being like, will we see Mario Paint come in? Will they release the Super NES mouse as another NSO exclusive thing?
Yeah.
But I mean, Mario Paint is one of my like all-time games. I absolutely loved it. But like, I don't know. I see a lot of potential in this for, Nintendo's like other creative suite kind of games, like Mario Maker, like Game Builder Garage, all this kind of stuff that they like. I don't know. I feel like had a harder time supporting in the Switch era, but where like the original Mario Maker was such a big deal on Wii U, and I think part of that is just owed to the fact that it's so easy to make levels with the touch screen and the stylus, and it just was like a little bit harder to do that on the Switch, and so people made fewer levels, and it was just less of a like video game cultural moment than the original was. And I wonder if they can do with a Super Mario Maker 3 or a Mario Kart Maker or whatever, Zelda Maker, that just has like mouse support and then is so much more accessible for people to actually use.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I want to pick your brains. Like, is there a chance they utilize this to even bring like DS and 3DS functionality to Nintendo Switch Online? Like, yes. Could we possibly see some of those games with this mouse functionality as well?
I don't really know if I'm trying to now that you're saying that, I'm trying to think how like mouse functionality would make that better than what, like, yeah, I guess I'm not sure. I'm not really sure how mouse functionality would improve that or like make that possible, because I feel like the big barrier for the DS and 3DS support is more like, how do we handle dual screen in docked mode? But I guess actually, now that I'm saying that out loud and thinking it through, I guess if you had it docked, but you could use the mouse input in place of like the touch screen, that maybe that would, maybe that is the way to kind of like get past that barrier. Because I'm imagining something like Phantom Hourglass, right? Where like so much of the input of that is like you control everything. You control Link, everything through that bottom screen. And so in handheld mode, that makes sense. But in docked mode, that's much harder. But I guess, maybe you could use that mouse functionality built into a Joy-Con to kind of like replace that the bottom screen when it's plugged into the TV. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, well, and I mean, you could even like using the mouse, using like mouse on one half and Joy-Con in the other hand, like that's a good substitute for like Kid Icarus Uprising, right? And probably a more comfortable way to play that game. And also like Metroid Prime Hunters, right? Like all of these things that they were like finding weird little workarounds for on the original DS or 3DS that might actually just work better with a mouse. But like, you know, they're just like the other touchscreen things. Like, would a Brain Age game be more accessible with a with a mouse? Would a Nintendogs game be more approachable with a mouse? You know, would our beloved Famicom Detective Club games be easier to play with a mouse? Like, yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah.
The thing that stood out to me from the patent is how uncomfortable it looks holding a Joy-Con and like trying to manipulate the buttons that way. Like, and so it made me think like, oh, like, yeah, as a point and click thing, like playing Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic or something where it doesn't require Twitch accuracy like a Call of Duty or something. It's like, okay, yeah, for something like Mario Paint, a creation game, a point and click adventure game, I can see how the Joy-Con would work. But for something like, yeah, like an online shooter like Metroid Prime 4 or something like that, it doesn't feel like the Joy-Con would be the great way to do that. But if they do have, you know, third-party accessories or even this like bigger controller that they show in the patent that is kind of like a Pro controller but split in two halves, that it would maybe be a bit more ergonomic. Maybe that could work, because I know people don't like playing on the Joy-Con in general, and I've always found that to work fine. So I don't know, maybe if you have little like tiny kid hands, you'd be able to use it for like Twitch shooters. But that's the part that really stood out to me. It looks so uncomfortable. Their fingers are like so cramped trying to manipulate any of those buttons. Yeah,
like I'm looking at it. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But basically, yeah, the two fingers are on like the trigger buttons. Your thumb is on the analog stick, but then like, yeah, your ring finger and your pinky are like just tucked under to help support the Joy-Con so it doesn't flip over. And it's like this weird little claw you got going on. It looks really uncomfortable.
Well, and like you just think about like how when you're actually using a mouse, how much of like the palm of your hand is resting on like the butt of the mouse. Right. And like that doesn't exist on the Joy-Con. So it seems like the kind of thing that like it'll be able to do, but like no one's going to want to do it. And if they release like a separate mouse controller for it that actually is an ergonomic thing, then I'm on board, then I'll buy it and whatever. Totally. And that the like Joy-Con is like a matter of last resort for the mouse controls, then okay.
Maybe if it's Bluetooth, you can just use any old mouse. Maybe you can just connect any mouse.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That'd be sick. That'd be sick, honestly.
But please don't rob me of the Super NES mouse, please.
No, yeah, we definitely
I just want an opportunity to spend $50 on that thing.
100%. And I, even thinking like beyond like retro game, like applications, but getting like the new, what is it, Civ 7 that just came out, like could that come to Switch 2 and have like the mouse, not keyboard support, but mouse support and stuff like that? Like that would make that type of game so much easier, because sometimes that's such a pain in the butt, those games that have like a cursor and you gotta like, with the analog stick, like drag across.
Totally.
It's like it can be so slow. And even if you speed up or heighten the sensitivity, okay, now it's too fast. It's just hard to fine tune that stuff and make it comfortable, where just to be able to like this quick, like, just move around, like, oh man, like doing these, bring more games like that to the Switch and make it just easier to control would be great. Would be awesome, because there's not really a lot of those point and clicks. Like there are some point and clicks, but again, that's the gripe, is it's like it doesn't feel great, but it gets the job done,
right? But there are a lot of games that I feel like we've like fallen into like, okay, I guess this is an okay way to play it, like a Picross game, or we've got a new Professor Layton game coming out this year. Is that when World of Steam comes out?
Oh yeah,
this year, next year sometime.
I think you're right.
But like, all that kind of stuff is like, oh yeah, no, this is just more intuitive to, use a mouse for. So, and if they lean into it, it's all the big Nintendo ifs, right? Like, if they actually, treat that as like a cornerstone of the experience going forward? Are they going to be creating games for the mouse the same way that they created games for Wii remotes? Then like we might be in business, but it could also be a thing that they abandoned right away.
What is the mouse controller equivalent of ARMS for the Switch 2? You know, like what like new IP are they going to create around that? Or like what is the snipper clips equivalent? But you're right. Like, does it make Animal Crossing different? Does it make Pikmin? Does it make like, you know, some of these existing IP? Is it just like another option that makes or Mario Kart 9 or 10, whatever they end up calling it, how there were motion controls for Wii? Do they now introduce like a new control scheme that's mouse focused that will completely change the way we play Mario Kart from here on out? You get golden mice if you're playing with the mouse controls.
It's so funny that Nintendo would be like embarking on like a mouse interface as like the computing world is moving away from mouse interfaces, right? That like everything is like touch screens now, and Nintendo's just like, I don't know, we've been there. You know, we don't need to do that anymore.
Been there, done that. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. It's cool. It's as goofy as some of these gimmicks can be that they come up with. Like 9 times out of 10, they're fun. Like I don't know, and they come up with some fun ways to implement it most of the time. So I don't know. I look forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Switch 2 Direct just in general. Like I cannot wait to finally see what the heck this thing is. I'm bummed there's not gonna be games at it because that Direct, it's happening in April. Is that right, or is it March?
Wait. What? There's not gonna be games at it?
No, there'll be games. Garrett, come on.
They said they're not showing any games. It's just hardware.
No, come on. No way. Who said that? Where did they say that?
Nintendo said that. They said that in a tweet. Hang on. I'll Google it.
Yeah, because that would be, to me, that would be totally, if that cuckoo bananas. Like that would be truly crazy. Because I don't know what else they can show off without software.
Without showing off games, yeah.
One thing that I feel like is so different with the Switch 2 is like the Switch 2 hardware reveal was neat. It was exciting because they were officially acknowledging the Switch 2 and we saw it and everything. But because it's so iterative from everything that we can tell, it's like, okay, it's cool that this exists, but the software is going to be what matters. Like the software is going to sell this thing. And that would be shocking to me if the April Direct does not talk about software.
I'm having a hard time finding it. I feel like it was a tweet and they, like I said, like they announced the date and then I could have swore like there was like a response to it saying like it's just going to focus on hardware. But no, it doesn't make sense. Like how do you show off the hardware and not show games? Like I feel like by default there's going to be something, but
yeah.
It would just be so profoundly boring. Like how do you make that exciting, right?
Yeah.
We're already getting up at 6 o'clock in the dang morning to watch this thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I don't know. Can't find it. It's hiding from me, but maybe I'm wrong. That happens. That's happened before. Yeah, I found a tweet here and it doesn't say anything like that. I thought I remember seeing like an IGN article about it, like they were concerned about it, but I don't see it here. So we'll move on. We'll ignore that. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.